The Puck Portfolio with Andy MacNeil.
Hey, welcome to the Puck Portfolio here for one last time. It's Game 7. It's all come down to this, the Oilers and Panthers, the Stanley Cup Final. Of course, Edmonton trying to come back from an 0-3 series deficit to win the Stanley Cup. They'd be just the second team to accomplish that feat. The 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs did just that. They'll be only the fifth team in NHL history to overcome an 0-3 series deficit to win the series. But here we are, Game 7, and I'm excited. As you can see, I've got my away whites on, supporting the road team tonight, and we're looking at a pick'em here in Game 7, pretty much anyway, at NorthStar Bets. Minus 112 on the Florida Panthers, minus 105 on the Edmonton Oilers. And yeah, that's a relatively good price. I mean, there is a lot of minus 110 on each side out there at a lot of sports books. Talking to Jake, producer Jake here a little bit before we went live about just, how much the line has moved here compared to where this was at, the money line, the last time the Oilers were in Florida. Game 5, Florida closed as high as minus 175 at some sports books. And now they are, of course, just a minus 110. Can't even call them a favorite. So 50-50 matchup here in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. We wanted best on best. We thought we were going to get best on best. And it has been best on best. Of course, the Panthers defeated the Edmonton Oilers in the first 3 games. They outscored Edmonton 11-4 in those 3 games. So the Oilers in the last 3 games have outscored the Panthers 18-5. Totally ruined Sergei Bobrovsky's chances at the Conn Smythe Trophy as he's sitting at 100-1 to win the Conn Smythe Trophy now. McDavid, though, a massive favorite, minus 3,335 on the Conn Smythe Trophy odds for Connor McDavid. So win or lose, it very much looks like Connor McDavid will be crowned the Conn Smythe winner, the MVP of the 2024 playoffs, and rightfully so. I mean, he is just 5 points back of Wayne Gretzky for the most points in a single playoff campaign ever. Of course, McDavid did go pointless in Game 6, and something special happened because it was the first time in the McDavid era since the 2015-16 season that the Edmonton Oilers had won a game in which McDavid did not generate a shot on goal or a single point. So definitely a team win in Game 6. Big performance from Stuart Skinner, of course. And the depth scoring has blossomed throughout this playoff run. Warren Foegele, actually, want to talk about him a little bit. Outside of Connor McDavid, who has 11 points, 3 goals, and 8 assists in 6 games versus Florida in these playoffs. Warren Foegele's next. He's got 2 goals and 3 assists in his last 5 games. He's playing on the top line with Connor McDavid right now. He's been getting some time in the top 6 over that stretch, and he's made good on it throughout this stretch here. Unfortunately, though, the one game that I bet on Foegele to score a goal, he did not light the lamp and had some goals sandwiched in between there. So that was a bad pick on my part. Jake, it's all wrapping up tonight, buddy. How you feeling about the Oilers' chances? Of course, a little bit different now that the pressure definitely has switched to Florida on home ice. The Oilers, I mean, I think win or lose, everybody's pretty satisfied with the Oilers' effort at this point. And like I know that everybody would be disappointed if they did not win tonight, but the Panthers, man, it's going to be a different kind of disappointment given that they were, they had 3 chances to close this thing out and failed each time.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, we cover this every day. We cover sports for a living, but I was a little bit checked out at the start of this one, and then obviously after the Panthers went up 3-0, I was pretty dang checked out. After the 8-1 win, I thought that was exciting, but I still didn't give the Oilers much of a chance. But This past week, the last few days, I've definitely checked back in, and I've had a lot of fun watching the series. Watched Game 6 on Friday with great interest, and I think it's just such a cool story. There's so many things that you can cherry pick, so many sort of historical facts that are happening in the series and could happen tonight. So yeah, I'm feeling it for the Oilers. It's hard not to feel the momentum on the Oilers side right now, and like we were talking about before the game, loving the Bill Zito rage cam. I think the higher that goes, the more that they're going to cut to him during whichever game they cut to him. So yeah, I'm having fun watching the series again for sure.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see what the ratings end up being for Game 7. And I mean, it's pretty tough to grab people's attention in this day and age with everything going on and all the content out there. But I would imagine that this is going to be one of the highest rated hockey games of all time, given the star power, given the story. There's going to be a lot of books written about this season, this playoff run. Should the Edmonton Oilers win the Stanley Cup, I'm sure a lot of them have already been, for the most part, penned. So I think. I mean, geez, the Toronto Blue Jays, they didn't, they won a divisional series and they had a book out like on the shelf like the next week. So if the Canada ends the Stanley Cup drought, I would imagine that there will be a lot of merchandise and everything else to go along with it, documentaries, all that stuff. I mean, Amazon following the Oilers around right now, so going to get a pretty incredible look at this one way or the other. So that's going to be pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I like you said, you thought it was an exciting win. Didn't I don't think many people thought that the 8-1 win was going to mean all that much in the grand scheme of things. I think people generally thought that it was a letdown spot for the Panthers coming into that one, coming up 3-0, chance to close it out, nerves, whatnot. And like I said, they were, Edmonton was totally kind of disregarded by the betting market the following game, and they were kind of wrote off. And now we've seen that sentiment totally change here. Really, I mean, a pick 'em on home ice, that suggests that the road team is on neutral ice a better team, right? And that's what the betting market is suggesting right now. And I mean, the Oilers, they've been tested in every possible way this season, starting right from their struggles in the regular season all through this playoff run. This is the third series in a row that they have had to come from behind. They're 5-0, a perfect 5-0 in games in which they have faced elimination, and the Panthers are now 3-5 in games where they can eliminate an opponent. So it's not great for Florida. And I think mainly, the biggest thing for me is that throughout this run, Edmonton has, shown that they're more than just Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. They can win in different ways. Game 6 was another example of that. They've, Stuart Skinner has proven himself to this point. Like, Edmonton can win with this guy in net, and I don't think that's a question anymore. It's just a matter of do they put everything together in one game? Do they get the bounces and whatnot? And that's pretty much what it's going to come down to. But I think defensively, the Oilers game is like way more complete than anybody would have given them credit for. I mean, they have held the Panthers to just one power play goal on 19 opportunities in this series. That's incredible. The talent that's on both of those Florida power play units. It's just amazing that they've been, and it hasn't been just all luck either. Like, the Oilers have been very good on the penalty kill. You watch them play, and they lock it down. And of course, the power play has been really effective as of late, as it has been all season long. Um, and I just don't think there's really there's really no questions left here. And I think it's pretty tough at this point to pick a side in this one. And I'm gonna say that I'm not gonna really pick a side. I think Florida should be a small favorite. They're on home ice. We've got to remember why they're here in the first place. They were up 3-0 in this series. They did have the Oilers on the ropes. There are a lot of good things still happening for this team. I don't think they're playing bad by any means. Things just haven't gone their way over the past three games. And Game 7 could be a different story. I think that they should be around minus 107 on the money line. So call it a cop out, call it what you want, but I don't think that there's much of a handicap in this game that's going to lead to any really real value as far as a side. But I do think there's a play on the over here. I know all the historical stats suggest otherwise, right? I mean, what's the under since dating back to 2006? I believe. Oh yeah, the under is 44, 26, and 9 in Game 7 since 2006. 3-0 to the under this season. Um, the game total for this Game 7 is currently set at 5, a flat 5 for the first time this season. I bet it at over 5 minus 130 earlier at NorthStar Bets. It's now up to minus 137. I think if you shop around, you might still find something around the minus 130 range, but that minus 137 is a pretty good price. Otherwise, if you're looking for over 5.5, I think you'd want to see something around that plus 130, plus 125 range in order to go over 5.5. But I think this is gonna be a very good sweat if you're going under 5 goals or under 5.5 goals, in my opinion. And it could be a good sweat for the over as well. But I just don't see this one staying under. 4 straight games in this series have gone over. 5 straight games have featured at least 5 goals. There's just too much talent here. I know the goaltending has been really solid for Edmonton, and at times it's been solid for the Panthers. But over 5 minus 130, I thought that was a really, really worthwhile bet. And the market, as I've mentioned, has shown that they're more than capable of showing their overconfidence here. You don't often see these line moves from one game to the next in the regular season or in really any other matchups for that matter. There's a lot of attention on this one. And I think there's a little bit too much overconfidence here with the way this total is priced. So I took over 5 minus 130 to win 1 unit. And that's going to be my last bet of the season. As unexciting as it is, I just don't really think there's a whole lot here. Yeah, you can try your hand at some first goal scorers and whatnot, but I think for the most part, this one's priced pretty competitively, pretty sharply. Jake, if you had to pick a side, man, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You taking the Oilers, or are you gonna pick the Panthers to salvage their Stanley Cup?
To be honest, I've been thinking about it today. I don't see many reasons why you would pick the Panthers. They're going to have to show us a completely different side than they've shown us in the last 3 games. It seems like they are kind of defeated. And I was thinking about this too, and you bring it up, with Amazon following the Oilers. This has just been such a crazy season for the Oilers, and now this finals is kind of a microcosm of the Oilers season as a whole, where they started out looking like the
Yeah,
worst team in the league, literally, and then they go, 1 game away from setting the regular season win streak record, where it seemed like they were never going to lose again. So that's sort of the vibe I get around the Oilers right now. They're sort of in that mode. So yeah, I'm sticking with the Oilers tonight.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, just betting on it being an incredible story that we're gonna remember for a very long time.
I agree. The home team is 12-5 all time when the Stanley Cup Final reaches Game 7. Obviously, some of those we're going way back for some of those, but the road team, the underdog, has emerged victorious the last 3 times. So 2009 Pittsburgh, 2011 Boston, and 2019 St. Louis. The last 3 times that the Cup Final has gone to a Game 7. So a little bit of a favorable trend there for the Oilers. Not impossible, that's for sure. Uh, like I said, the total has gone over in 4 straight games. But over the last 3 seasons, the total is 38, 16, and 2 to the under in games 5, 6, and 7. Additionally, the under, like I said, is 44, 26, and 9 in game 7 since 2006, including 3-0 this season. And as far as the puck line goes, the Oilers, they've covered in 4 consecutive games going back to their loss in game number 3, I guess. Um, yeah, Edmonton has been getting it done. Um, but yeah, I mean between the Oilers just looking like they are, a team of destiny, like we've said in the past, but like Sergei Bobrovsky, he's been exposed, right? I mean, he could rebound and have a great game in Game 7, and I wouldn't really be surprised, but um, definitely seems like the aura around him has been shattered. He came in to Game 4, allowing 2 or fewer goals in 13 of 15 playoff games. Um, and that now he's allowed 3 or more goals in 4 consecutive games. So he was given a day off to rest, apparently reset ahead of Game 7. I guess Maurice wanted him to get back on his what is usually his routine. But I think you've got to think that the confidence, not just his own personal confidence in himself, but the team's confidence in him has been probably shaken a bit here. I mean, this is the second year in a row that he's fallen apart in the Stanley Cup final, right? So, yeah, I don't think that is necessarily something that you're going to feel good about heading into this one. Um, According to Evolving Hockey, Edmonton has owned roughly 52% of the expected goals, so it's been really close. And but I think if you look at the game logs, Florida has only really been decisively the better team in one game. That was game number 2, when they played really poorly in game number 1 despite shutting out the Oilers. They came back, they played really well in game number 2 and took a 2-0 series lead. But that was the only game that you could say that they dominated Edmonton. Every other game has been kind of a coin flip or really heavily in Edmonton's favor. The Panthers, they've been held to 9.7 high danger chances per 60 minutes after generating more than 14 per 60 high danger chances in the first 3 rounds of the postseason. They've been good defensively. I think pretty comparable to how they played against the other 3 teams in the earlier rounds. But it's no surprise that that's not working versus Edmonton, because Edmonton is the best offensive team of the bunch, right? So not really a surprise here. Um, that this is kind of going south for the Panthers, I guess, in hindsight, I should say, because it's not like I was sitting here when the others were down 3-0 saying that you should bet them right now. But yeah, final thoughts. I hope it happens with a win, but yeah, Connor McDavid, he deserves the Conn Smythe one way or the other. He's been phenomenal. He's wowed everybody. He's gotten everybody interested in this thing, and Edmonton would definitely not be where they are if they had another player in his role. He's just been on another level, and his play in this final has been off the charts too, despite his pointless effort in game number 6. But as far as I go, just the bet on the over 5 at -130, like it up to the -140 range, -137 currently at NorthStar Bets. But that's pretty much it for me. Jake, any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up and sign off for the season?
Yeah, just want to say good season. This is the first season of the Puck Portfolio for Andy and myself. So thank you to everybody who watched this season, and yeah, we're excited for next year and to bring you more great content. And here's to a great summer.
Absolutely. I had a lot of fun this season. Definitely burnt out, ready for a break. I think anybody in the hockey media space is. This, of course, is way later than we usually go, and it's a long season. There aren't many breaks between October and when the Stanley Cup is handed out. So the fact that it's going to be handed out on June 24th, the last possible day, this one really stretched on. But the fact that the Oilers, even though I didn't have a big futures bet on Edmonton or anything like that to root for, the fact that the Oilers have gone on this run has definitely made it a lot easier to want to do this each and every day, because yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun to be be a part of in a small way, just to be a part of the hometown crowd, I guess. Watching my son really become a hockey fan throughout this playoff run. More so than he's ever been before. It's been pretty cool too. Not many, not much outside of YouTube that would, that gets his attention for longer than 15, 20 minutes, right? So it's pretty impressive that he could sit down and watch an entire hockey game. Hopefully he is rewarded for all his patience and everything tonight with a Stanley Cup. See his team win a Stanley Cup for the first time. And he won't have to wait until he's well into his 20s like I did. So, but anyway, thanks to everybody that tuned in today and throughout the season. Really appreciate it. We will be back throughout the summer with content outside of the puck portfolio universe, I guess. Some sports betting related content, obviously, and then before we know it, we'll be previewing the 2024-2025 NHL regular season, because it is coming up quick here with the NHL draft at the end of the month, free agency starting away right away. Last season, it was around June 27th that the NHL released its regular season schedule. So as soon as that's released, I'll start breaking it down, and we'll start making some projections and see where the value is heading into the new hockey season. But until then, take care. Good luck with your bets. Of course, gamble responsibly, and enjoy the off season.